This is a Film Stories original podcast.
We made...
The truth is in here. Welcome to minute 71 of the X-Files Fight the Future Minute. I'm your host, Sarah Blair. I've got Cortlan Waters Bartley back with me. How's it going, Cortlan? It's been a while since we've talked about this.
Far too long. It's been far too long since we've talked about this, Sarah. I'm so glad we get to do it again.
That sounded a little bit sarcastic, Cortlan.
Sorry, I need some more coffee.
All right, so this minute begins with 1 hour and 10 minutes. And it begins with where the boys are talking about whose ass is more on the line. But really, we understand that it's Scully's ass is the most on the line here. True. And then it ends at 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 59 seconds with a knock on the door. That's another clip. We got a lot of cliffhangers, Cortlan, in our minutes. This is amazing.
So many cliffhangers. This is a big cliffhanger moment.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. You got to talk about this. You guys to talk about this in the next episode with Cathy.
It's very exciting. I'm going to have to really rein in my excitement to talk about it with any clarity.
I'm not going to step on your toes, but I'm jealous. Right now, in the film, Mulder and Kurtzweil are like, it's your ass, it's my ass, not yours.
In a back alley. They're standing in a back alley yelling about asses.
Mulder and Kurtzweil are in the back alley talking about their asses.
That's an accurate summary. Is it a complete summary? No, but it is an accurate one still.
Perhaps a bit out of context.
That's the most fun way to watch the X-Files is with no context whatsoever.
Oh, dear. All right.
Oof. Once again, here we have Kurtzweil like throwing his hands up in the air and being like, I'm out. This is too much. And this was his idea.
He's ready to get out of that bar.
He's been there long enough. He's done. He's had enough.
He's out of the bar. He's freed into the world. I bet that sun hurts his eyes. He's been in the dark bar for a while. So Mulder's being spied on. Are we surprised about this? He's being watched.
Not a very good spy.
Not really.
Again, the Syndicate not putting forward their best foot here. Kind of a clumsy spy.
What is it in Lost Art of Forehead Sweat? You sent us, the alien. He's like, you're not putting forward your best people here. These are not your best people.
These are not your best people. Yeah, that's definitely not the Syndicate's best spy. Definitely not. He's making a lot of noise on that fire escape.
Maybe he was making the noise on purpose because he wanted to be seen.
Why?
As a warning to Mulder.
The helicopters weren't enough.
When has Mulder ever heeded a warning from anyone?
Just chased by helicopters. And they're like, what's going to really drive home the message? The guy on a fire escape. Stay out of it, Mulder. Or otherwise, we're going to send more guys on more fire escapes.
Yeah, that menacing look, boy, if that doesn't do it. So Mulder accuses Kurtzweil. He says, you don't even know my parents. You're just a lying liar. Or something like that. Mm-hmm. That's basically close enough, sure. Right?
It's the gist.
Essentially exactly what he said. Essentially. So Mulder goes home to his apartment and he takes off his jacket. And look at those arms. There's arms in this.
He flings that jacket off. He's out of it. He's so frustrated. He's like, jacket off. We're going to get a lot of good Mulder arms in like the next 3 to 4 minutes of this podcast.
I'm kind of a little bit sad that we don't get more Scully arms.
Yeah. Well, because Jillian has nice arms.
She does. We need more Scully arms. Equal arm opportunity.
She's always wearing her jacket, Scully.
She's a professional.
I can only think of like a really few scenes ever where Scully is not wearing long sleeves.
I recall one when she's leaving Mulder's apartment in a green shirt and a pencil skirt.
Wow. That isn't even the first one that I thought of. I was thinking, isn't there a scene in like, I think it's Redux or maybe Gethsemane, where she's like doing tests on her own blood.
Yeah.
And she has short sleeves on in that scene. There's another one in season 4, right, where she's undressing and he's like, keep going, G-Woman.
Pilot.
Yes.
She is pretty. I think that covers, or should I say uncovers.
We don't really see her arms.
I mean,
I thought we were talking about arms here.
Kind of.
In like 10 or 11 more episodes, she's going to not have any clothes on at all. Does that count?
We've totally elevated the level of this podcast.
We're bringing it up.
You're welcome.
Ooh, I do have a note here from the commentary. The commentary agrees with us. I mean, they're not very explicit about their agreement, but that Scully's taking a lot of risks with this hearing situation, and her ass is in fact the most on the line. I mean, they don't say that explicitly, but reading between the lines, they agree.
I think we can definitively conclude that Scully's ass is the most on the line.
Yeah.
And here, Mulder flings off his jacket and he takes out a photo album because Kurtzweil claims to have known his parents. So he's going to go and look up the evidence that has been there this whole time. He didn't do it before. He trusted Kurtzweil before. Trust no one. And now he doesn't trust Kurtzweil anymore. But he's going to go find that evidence. He's going to look at it.
Well, okay.
And guess what? Kurtzweil's telling the truth for once.
For once. For once, Kurtzweil said something true. Yeah. Well, actually, I always think that's kind of interesting. Like, what are the chances that Mulder happens to have that photo of the one barbecue that Kurtzweil was at? But also, Kurtzweil even says, like, these people don't make mistakes. Well, but yes, they do. They definitely do. That guy is noisy on the fire escape, as we have established. So, yes, they do. And also, that means that they have elaborately planned for a bee to hide in Scully's collar.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what Kurtzweil means.
They elaborately planned to have Mulder and Scully go to this bee place, to the Jiffy Pop Poppers, and they knew that Scully was going to get that bee. I can't even say it with a straight face. I can't even say it without laughing. No. They knew Scully was going to get that bee, and that the bee was going to wait until Mulder and Scully were about to kiss. And they're like, you know what? They're going to kiss or try to kiss. They're going to almost be kissing, and then that bee is going to sting her. She's not going to kiss him. And it's the whole conspiracy. It was all the plan the whole time.
It just seems unnecessarily elaborate, even for the syndicate. So, I don't know. What are the chances that Mulder would have that photo with Kurtzweil in it? Just one photo. Also, that in and of itself is a little bit like, why would Kurtzweil allow himself to be photographed at Bill Mulder's home? It seems like a bad idea. Why do all these photos exist?
Because it wasn't a conspiracy then.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it totally was. Totally was.
Isn't that the point? I don't know.
Yeah. I love how they plan things. Like, I mean, you remember in, Paperclip, Anasazi, that when Scully's sister gets shot and well-manicured man is like, it will happen in one of two ways. Either at your home or in the garage.
Like, he doesn't even know.
He doesn't even know. It's like plan A and plan B. I don't know which, but something.
They have to draw straws or like roll a dice or something. You have to pick a card, any card. Like, I don't know.
It's like, wouldn't that be funny if the cigarette smoking man was just playing Dungeons and Dragons this whole time? But like the X-Files version.
With like all of his friends with matching ties that he gave him for Christmas. I don't know. Good for Mulder, though, I guess, for actually looking at the photos.
He did his due diligence and found Kurtzweil there in the photos.
At this point, I feel like it would make sense for Mulder to go through all the photos that he has and try to find all of the people that are in them. Because
CGB Spender is in there somewhere.
He's in there somewhere. Like
he's water skiing. Can you imagine? He's in the water skiing and just like waving.
Like he's holding onto the handle with one hand and like has a cigarette in the other.
Waving. He's like waving a cigarette in the air while he does a trick.
Right. I don't know. It seems like maybe Mulder's old family photos might be a good place to start investigating X-Files.
One would imagine.
Surprised Mulder hasn't put that together yet.
But he's distracted. He's distracted from looking through all these photos by a knock on the door. But we can't talk about what happens after that knock.
We can't. Well, I can. Sorry.
You can.
In the next episode.
It's killing me. It's too much.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I mean, I'm not that sorry. I'm a little sorry. There is in this minute, we didn't talk about it, but there is in this minute excellent Mark Snow soundtrack score.
There is.
Like pretty much as soon as Mulder walks into that apartment, there's like excellent like welling of music.
Mm-hmm.
Starts to build.
I love the soundtrack so much. It's so good. Mark Snow at his finest.
Really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I met Mark Snow at X-Fest. I had him sign the Fight the Future soundtrack for me. That's what I have.
That's amazing.
I know. It was wonderful. That's my last note, except to say that when there is the knock, the door appears to already sort of be open. Like you can hear it kind of like creaking open. Mulder didn't even shut his apartment door. That's how focused he was.
It could have been anybody. It could have been
the fire escape guy. We don't know.
Get your head out of your ass, Mulder. Yep. All right, friends. That's it for minute number 71. Out the door. We did it. Cortlan, you're coming back for the next episode with Cathy to discuss what happens after the knock.
I am. I'll be here. I'm going to try to rein it in.
Still jealous.
Talk about it.
Yep. A lot
With
of
purpose.
interesting things happen.
So many things coming
So many.
down the line.
But we're not going to talk about that now.
We're going to leave you with the knock.
All right. Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me. Twice on the pipe if the answer is no. Sorry. Had to get another sex joke in there. Oh, my darling.
I mean, the next line really is meet me in the hallway, so boom, nailed it. That works totally fine.
Yep, there you go. Scully's going to meet Mulder in the hallway. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, trust no one.
Elsewhere on We Made This. The Sanctuary, a Star Trek, politics and economics podcast.
Sci-fi needs more strong women, and they had her say that, and for that split second she was on camera, she was in uniform as Kira Nerys. And I think that was a really well done piece of framing, a good piece of television, a good piece of framing that was really well done. The whole thing was really, really well done. And I think they got it pretty much right on the mark.
Shipwrecked and Comatose, a Red Dwarf podcast.
I hadn't thought about it any more than Rimmer can see himself, that's unusual. And I'm just wondering, I'm thinking out loud now, is there a reason for that, or is it just for that one gag?
It's possibly for that one. Well, no, because there's other ones, like where he gets haircuts later in the series, where it's important for him to see himself. and then the build-up is that he hasn't noticed yet.
That was last episode.
Oh, it was. Oh, it was future. Yes, it was.
Don't worry. I think we're doing this a lot. It'll be people saying, I don't know if you watch Alan Partridge, when he says, "Stop getting Bond wrong." So I think there'll be plenty of people telling us that we're getting everything wrong, which is great. I love it.
Between the notes.
Well, I kicked myself because I totally didn't make the connection that Bill Lee would have been related to Spike Lee until I actually looked it up as part of the preparation for this podcast. I was like, oh, he's Spike Lee's dad. I never made that connection.
And he's still going. He's early 90s. He's still with us, which is great.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I was looking up. Apparently, they haven't collaborated since the early 1990s because they've had a bit of a falling out, which is a shame because I think that I thought the Do the Right Thing score was brilliant.
Check out all of these shows and more on the We Made This podcast network.